while since we've done the update on the roads. Let's talk a little bit about where we are on the planning and also on the referendum.
Yeah, so planning-wise, we are still working. We have our road list. We have our 10-year plan. Even though we're doing a 7-year, we have a 10-year plan. We're working with municipalities on getting their road list, prioritized list, projects, wish list, you can say. Still getting that information so we can do a complete plan for countywide. So working hard on that, coming up with some preliminary designs for some of our safety projects, so we can get a better cost estimate for some of that. So when we put it out, we'll know, because we kind of want to put so much money towards safety projects, and we need to know kind of a preliminary cost estimate, so we can make sure we can complete those projects. Yeah.
So just to also remind everybody, there was a study done that measured the safety and condition of every road and every mile of Anderson County roads. And y'all's priority list is based on that, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into that priority. Of course, the condition of the road, the safety data that we collected from the DOT, all the crash data. We also go by ADT, the average daily traffic counts on those roads. So yeah, those factors go into the priority list, yes.
I think you also said the factor of how long somebody's been waiting on a road to be fixed is something factored into that?
We do have some that have been waiting for a very, very long time that have called, and most of those are already on our list because we know that they're in poor condition, and we just haven't had that funding to resurface or reconstruct those roads. But yeah.
And they'll be done in phases, the most critical roads first, is that right?
They'll be split up. So we'll have some that are, all of our roads are in different classification. Collector roads, major local roads, and minor local roads. And those are based on the traffic that are on those roads. And we will split that money based on kind of across those. We don't want to spend all of our money on the worst roads because it costs so much more. I mean, it's to do a mile to reconstruct is about $1 million still. So if we put all of our money on our poorest of poor roads, we're going to run out of money very quickly. So we will split that money. We'll keep our good and fair roads, keep those in those conditions, and those that are in that fair, we'll spend money on those to bring those up to a good and excellent, and that'll raise the whole network up. And then we will put some money towards those that are in failing and poor. Yes.
And County Council passed, the resolution for November to ask taxpayers if they want to fund the roads with a penny tax for that. But we're also waiting on the delegation to make changes to that. Is that correct?
That is correct. We are working, we've been working on it. Now it's up to them to, we're going to change it where groceries would be exempt. That would be and right now it is a requirement for groceries to be taxed. And we are working with delegation and to change the law so that they would leave it up to the local government to make that decision. I believe it's just one word from a shall to may is all. That's the only part that they're changing. I believe Anderson wants it exempt, Greenville wants it exempt, Charleston County does not want it exempt. So if they just change that, it'll leave it up to that local government to make that decision. Yep.
So they'll decide that in a couple. I think it's the 17th of June at their meeting. How much will that take away from the road funds that we were hoping to get, though?
We don't know those exact numbers, but we've kind of looked at the school districts to kind of see, because theirs is exempt. Currently, as it is, we'd bring year one to be about $42 million. If the groceries are exempt, it would bring about $30 million. So you got about 10 or so million there is what we're predicting. So. But once they do that, we'll have the Department of Revenue will make those estimates for us. Yeah.
So you can still get all the roads fixed. It's just going to take longer without the grocery as part of it?
It'll take a little bit long. Yeah, it would take a little bit longer. It'll just change our plan a little bit. Some of the road, we won't have as much money to put towards paving and safety projects and bridges, but it'll just take a little bit longer. But it'll be $30 million is still a lot of money for compared to our $4 million that we're getting now. So.
And we were just talking about you and your staff have been working on the maps and the prioritization and when to begin. if all this works out, are you guys ready to hit the ground running in January or right after the election? Or
Yeah, that's part of, we've been working on a, pretty much a contract to put out, based on these numbers from the delegation. Once we hear that, we could, if it's voted yes and it's approved, that next day our plan is to have a contract for paving in our procurement office to put out for bid. So it will be ready to hit the ground running. Yep.
so by the 1st of August, right now, you hope to have maps up online so the public can look and see where the money will be spent and what roads are prioritized. That'll all be online for the public to view by early August?
Yeah, I would say August. Yeah, I would say end of July, 1st of August, we should have all that. Like I said, we're still waiting for municipalities to get us their list so we can incorporate, so we're not having to put it up, take it down, put it up. So we want to have that completed, and you'll be able to click on your road or a road and see when and what treatment's going to be done to that road. Yep.
And you're also working with the South Carolina DOT as part of the whole process as well?
That is true. We, of course, a lot of county citizens, there's a state road, they don't know a county road, city road. So we are working with the DOT to kind of get where their funding stops. If there's roads that we could pick up and even partner with them to get, if they're going to go 6 miles and it really needs to go another couple more miles, we could partner with them and add, and get a whole road completed, or a road that the county thinks is important for our citizens. We can fund those. Yes.
How many miles of state roads and federal roads and county roads do we have in Anderson County?
So county roads, we're at 1556 centerline miles, and I believe the DOT has a little over 1,800 centerline miles in Anderson County.
DOT is responsible for the 1,800 plus, and that includes I-85?
Yes. Yeah.
And they have begun doing, is it 100 miles a month is their goal? Or?
That sounds right. I don't know that off the top of my head, but I've heard that 100 miles is what I believe that's right. Yeah.
Are you getting a lot of calls, a lot of people asking about the roads and about what's going to happen?
I do get a lot of calls on roads in general, and that is, I do educate on kind of how we're funded and what's coming, that kind of, what we're looking at and our options. And so, yes, I do get a lot of phone calls of what's going to happen with roads, or when are they going to be paved or fixed, or, yeah.
And so once the legislative delegation makes their decision, then the county will do more to educate. You're not going to advocate, you're just going to try to educate. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's all we can do is educate. I can't advocate for it. I can just educate on the conditions of the roads. I can educate on the penny sales tax, or what it is and how it's used and what it can fund. Yes. We will be doing that education part. Yep.
So the next time we meet, it will be after the delegation is met. Will we be ready to announce where people can go and view all this stuff?
Yes, should be by the end of July. Yeah, we should have all that ready.
In the meantime, just as the day-to-day thing, if anybody's having serious issues with the roads, what do they need to do?
You can go on our app at acsc.gov and put any kind of request, issues.
Sometimes y'all fill those quickly, right? You were telling me sometimes y'all get to those really fast.
We try to hit potholes. That's our main one that we get through that, because that's if you see one, pop it and it'll put it. And if there's a crew in that area, potholes go straight to that potholing crew. So if they're in the area, they'll go ahead and fix it. So that is the fastest way through the app, or you can call 260-4190 is our main line and report any road issues, drainage issues, potholes. Those are the two ways to get those reported.
Are you optimistic that we're going to get these roads fixed and move ahead?
I am. I think it's. I hear it daily. I hear so much of when's the road's going to get paved, when's the road's going to get paved. I think the citizens of Anderson County want that, and hopefully penny, sales tax is, the best thing about it is. I believe is letting the visitors that come through Anderson County, the commuters on 85 coming to Clemson games, to our fishing tournaments, let's let them help pay. They use our roads. Over 35% of that money would come from visitors. So that's a big, to me, the other options are putting it all on Anderson County's residents, that they're the ones that are going to have to pay for it. So, but I am optimistic that it'll pass.